You know, I thought, and I thought too at the time. I was like, I got time. No one's going to
Never do
try
tomorrow
to do
what you should do today.
And that's true.
All right.
I started with the cartoon series. I had like a whole.
You had it
thing
drawn
done.
out.
Had it drawn out. Had
Yeah.
my characters done.
And it's a
You've
brilliant
seen 'em,
idea.
and it was there. I was there.
Do
But
something
yeah.
with it still. There's still time.
I know, but it's like it's not gonna be as cool. I wasn't the first to do it.
Or you might be on a trend, so you get a lot more from it.
I guess it would have been a lot cooler to be the
Not with
first.
that
nigga.
attitude.
I guess.
You could have been first. Microsoft was before Apple, but who dominates computers?
Microsoft.
Apple's.
No,
As a
Apple's
company.
just more popular. I feel like Apple's just more
Does
popular.
Microsoft has better operating systems across businesses, but as far as
There you
creatives
go.
are concerned, Apple dominates the market in my
That's what I'm gonna say. If
That's
it's more
'cause
popular, it doesn't mean it dominates.
It could dominate the market, but if you're talking about which product is better, I feel like that's a different conversation.
Mhm.
you
I
know?
will say, as a designer, though, more people are leaning toward PCs now because the software is ubiquitous, and in this office, there are no Macs at all.
intentionally.
I just felt like I didn't need it. I mean, if you think about it, Apple computers are very expensive for no real reason. You can
Preach.
get way better specs on PCs for a lot less money and a lot more flexibility.
iPhones.
iPhones are also very expensive. Kind of
Yeah.
for a reason.
My sister just closed her brand new laptop like on her phone on accident. Like she didn't see it. She just closed it like normally on her phone. The whole screen just stopped working on her Apple computer. It wasn't cracked or anything. Just stopped working.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't made to last. Apple.
No, it's not because you need to buy another one.
At some point
Yeah.
for $1,000.
I feel an emotional
$1,200.
attachment to Apple though, so even this conversation is triggering me a little bit because I bought my
Emotional.
first computer in 2008 when I was in 2006 when I was in
You
7th
remember?
grade because I remember I saved all my money and that was what I bought myself for my birthday. And I was like, this is the best computer ever. We had photo booth, like that wasn't a thing. It was
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
FaceTime. I was hyped and I only knew one other person, so I only talked to one person on FaceTime.
Damn.
But I just
There was
have that
FaceTime
emotional
back then?
attachment. It was photo booth and then it was FaceTime. It was, I think it was like iMessage.
Could you
something.
communicate through photo booth?
No. But having the picture and they had these little, almost like Snapchat, you had the filters or you had the
and
like
you just
4
sent
picture
them
squares.
to people or to that
We would
person?
take, you would take pictures with friends. And so it was like a thing. Like,
Because I understand photo booth, like, but that other person has to be there. What I'm saying is,
Yeah.
okay.
but then when you post that on MySpace and you had the sepia filter, it was like,
I didn't have
oh,
MySpace.
cool, okay.
I never had I wasn't allowed to have MySpace, so I just didn't.
Oh, I had a
That's
MySpace
fine.
and I got into the code and I changed the colors and added more music because I hijacked the code.
Did you?
How do you feel-
felt cool
I did.
as fuck.
How do you
did.
feel that there's millions of kids out there that don't even know what MySpace is?
I don't have an emotional attachment to MySpace. But I do think,
Does it make you feel old?
no,
Even though you're not?
I don't think so. I don't think there's really anything that makes me feel old.
Nothing at all.
No.
So when you wake up and you walk out of bed and your leg hurt for some reason,
My legs don't hurt. It just means
Your back
if
never
my,
hurt?
if my leg
You're
did
lying.
hurt or my
lying
back
ass
hurt,
nigga.
no, I'm not. If my
Okay.
legs did hurt or my back hurt or whatever, I just assume I slept wrong.
Oh, okay. Because you're older than me and Kel
Not that much.
by like 8 years.
It's like 3.
plus 8.
It's literally 3. We talked about this yesterday. You guys will be.
How old are we,
It's like
Chelsea?
3 and some change.
Chelsea, when's my birthday?
May 26th.
Wow, I didn't think you were gonna get it.
You didn't
We
say
talked
how
about
year.
it last night.
Was it? Yeah, but I still didn't think you were gonna remember.
96.
Oh,
Because you were going to get the tattoo.
Oh, yeah. Well,
oh,
she
you put all
listens.
that together?
September 14th.
Wrong.
Ah, I
Damn.
know it. I know it.
Boo.
I know it.
23rd.
Joshua?
September 20th.
Ding, 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 ding.
That's close.
Terrible. Friend.
When's my birthday?
March 30th.
Yeah, that's because it was last week.
Nah, but I knew before then. I knew. I brought it up in discussion. I was like, Chelsea, your birthday is coming up.
He
You
did.
recall? And then
He told me.
Yep, I did.
I have them in my phone because I'm probably, now that we've had this deep dialogue about it, I'll keep May 26th front of mind, but I probably, for everyone else, need it in my phone. And so when someone tells me, I put it in my phone and then I check my calendar for that day. Hey, happy birthday.
Chelsea, did you get mad at us on your birthday one day?
Like, I don't know what that means.
Okay. Never mind.
Like this birthday, one birthday, sometime ever.
Sometime ever,
past?
like, yeah, in the past.
I
Have you
don't know.
ever got mad at us? Okay.
Not that I remember.
Cool.
And on that note,
5, 6, 7, 8, and welcome to the Black Trees Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Quarles, and joining with me, as always, is not Keenan, but it's
the other Keenan.
there it is. And with us today, again, Miss Professor Dr. Chelsea
Always
Hayward,
and
The
forever.
third member of the Black Trees podcast.
the neglected third member of the Black Trees podcast, who decided to show up today.
The
We didn't
first
think you were
member.
gonna. We didn't think you were gonna make it.
I was deciding. I don't commit to things I don't plan on attending. That's why I
Mhm.
never said yes. But I was like, this works. I will show up
Okay,
Well, thanks for taking time out of your very busy schedule to be with us today.
anytime.
and that's not even sarcastic. I feel you know
No, it was actually,
yeah.
yeah.
That's real.
I meant that.
Nigga has a busy schedule. What you call? You were in
St. Louis.
St. Louis, that's right.
doing.
Work. So
Can you talk about it? Or
yeah,
no?
yeah. I could talk about that. So we work with a group called the Hope Initiative that has this project called Beyond Change that, long story short, is trying to spread social justice messaging for college and high school students of color. So there was a group that they partnered with called SAB, which used to stand for Student African American Brotherhood, but now there's more than just Black people in there, but it's still like 95% Black or Black men.
The allies.
The allies,
The allies.
It's 95%
some browns,
Black
some
men.
browns,
Some
people, yeah.
Browns.
95% Black men. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I led a panel with some NFL alumni about leadership and impact, and then it was like a whole day conferencing, so it was like literally 12 hours or more. It's like more. And then we had a fireside chat, which was my favorite part of the whole thing. So it was about 15 of the guys, one of the NFL alumni, and then all of us just in conversation about everything, but kind of just how life relates to them as Black men. And I got to share my perspective just working with Black men professional athletes, but then also my students at Morehouse. And so it was a cool space to learn more from them because I'll never be a Black man, but it was cool to see all of the facets of the Black male identity.
Oh wow.
You can be a Black man if you want to.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
there's
wanted,
that.
just wanted you to be aware you could.
Chelsea, were you ever part of a Black student union in high school?
I don't like subscribing to groups, so no, but I
Okay.
like did stuff that they would do sometimes, but I never officially signed up, not a part of any sorority I don't know.
In high school.
in high school or college.
Okay.
They don't
okay.
have sororities and stuff. in high
That's
school,
what
yeah.
confused me.
I thought I missed that. I thought you said college.
Oh no.
You
Me
weren't
and
part of
Kel.
anything really?
I played volleyball.
Me and
soccer.
Kel were in the Black student union for a quick second.
In our
You
high
remember
school,
that?
yeah.
How
And
many
it
of
was in
there
the-
were you?
Like 4.
Nah, it was more than 4. But
Was it?
you remember who put that together?
Yeah.
Who?
Taylor Scott, right?
Yeah,
was a
Taylor
good
Scott
idea,
put that
too.
together. I remember someone complaining to me about it. It was like, why is there a Black student union? And I was like, cause y'all student union is just called the student union. We need
Mhm.
a Black one.
hmm
That we
But-
do to handle some Black issues that we didn't know
Yeah.
about.
Right. I don't personally
together.
participate, but I support them fully, and I think they need to be here. I just like to do what I want when I want.
Yeah, so that was that, man.
I like
I don't
that.
remember doing anything in there though.
I recall that it dissolved pretty quickly, I thought. Like, it didn't last very long, or at least I didn't go to the meetings very long if it kept going on.
I don't remember.
be
I
honest.
remember like 2 of the meetings, and then I don't remember what went down at any of those meetings. All club meetings are low key the same, or at least in high school, because I was in Key Club for a little bit,
If you don't have that strong leadership, it falls apart quickly.
and we were in the drama, or I was in the drama club. I forget if you
I was in
went.
no drama club. Miss Roush tried to get me to be in that drama club. She was trying to get me to be in
Dude, Miss
everything
Rouse
at
was
the
trying to
school,
get me
man.
to be what you call run for the school president at one point, and I was like, no, I cannot.
The Black Student Union should have been having you try to run for the school president. That's who should have been doing that.
Miss Roush was out there looking for the representation, bro.
It matters.
Yes, it does, but I didn't have the GPA for it. I was like,
Oh, come on.
yeah, nah.
Letting the
It
community
wasn't.
down.
It wasn't bad though.
She
it
said
just
you let the community
you
down
had
under her breath.
you had to be like you had to be above a 3.5,
Oh,
I think.
I thought you were gonna say 3.0.
and I was like a 3 point something, but I wasn't no 3.5 for sure.
Mm.
And I was like, can't do it. And I also didn't want to. It's a lot of pressure.
Why?
What running for the class president?
Erica ran for president.
That's like being Barack.
Did she win?
for high
I think
school.
she did.
Yeah.
I don't remember now. I just remember
Erica?
she had a shirt that said "Vote for Erica for President" with the 4, and I still have the shirt.
With the wagon.
What a look.
Um.
What a look.
Kelly, would you like to talk about today's topics while we
I'm
Yeah,
gonna send her this episode.
That's fine.
That's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm okay. We love Erica.
Yeah, that we do.
I love Erica.
Why can't we
This
all?
is her second honorary mention on the podcast.
Is
Shout out
it?
to Erica.
Oh, we called her
Yeah,
one
we
time.
called her in the last
yeah,
one.
and
Or
she
the
picked
first
up.
one.
We called her
surprisingly.
last time. We did
Yeah.
call her last time on the show. Man.
A real nigga.
But anyway, we wanted to have you on today for our Stretch Your Brain episode. You
I'm
know,
ready.
asking some really tough, hard hitting, mind bending type questions that I feel like are important. You know, these are like thought provoking things you might need to think about.
My favorite snack is popcorn.
Question number 1. Did you like beer the first time you tasted it?
No, I still don't like beer.
What's your favorite beer, Chelsea?
I just told you I don't like it.
So but you can have a favorite, though.
I don't.
If you had to choose one to have,
That's a good one.
Which
root
one?
beer.
Josh, what's your favorite?
I didn't like beer when I first had it. My first beer was Bud Light. I feel like because I didn't know because Bud Light's like an American beer.
Bud Light's in America.
Yeah. What you call it? I didn't realize that I like Mexican beers a lot better.
What's the
Way
difference in
better.
flavor?
It's just this tastes different. You know what I mean?
Bud Light seems,
I don't know how to describe it though.
It seems more, and I hate to use this phrase, 'cause it probably isn't like watered down to me. There seems to be more flavor just overall with like, you know,
More beer flavor?
Modelo's, Pacificos, even ones like Tecates,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
those, I feel like just, there's more behind it. than, like, a
Pacifico
Bud
is like a
Light.
strong second for me, low key. I like
Yes,
Pacifico.
They're good.
I
They're
like
good.
water. I can tell water flavors. We could talk about that.
Now, that's actually interesting because everyone's like, what's your favorite water? To me, they all taste the same.
Really?
They all taste the exact
You're
same.
a fucking liar.
Blasphemous.
I swear to you.
So you're telling
they're
me
just
when
water.
you have a bottle of Arrowhead, you're like, this is like Dasani or Fiji water. That's what you say to yourself.
Let me say this. Dasani I can actually taste. The rest I can't actually taste. Dasani I know is different from all the rest. All the rest can be out of the
Why
tap.
can't you taste Dasani? Do you know
I
something?
don't know what it is
Oh,
about
okay.
Dasani. I don't like it.
You don't like it? Oh.
I think
I
all
love
the other
Dasani
waters
water.
are better, but it's like all the other waters, Dasani down here by itself being ass.
I heard I heard they put like salt, I think, in Dasani water. I hear tale.
To make you more thirsty?
Yeah,
Why?
to buy more water.
Well, that's what they do. In
More
food.
Dasani.
That's what they do with food. Put certain chemicals to make it more.
No fucking way.
Yeah, to make it more appealing. Put more sugar, like hidden sugars. Like why is there sugar in chips?
But okay, appealing's one thing, but like this is doing the opposite
No,
of
literally
what the water
to change
designed
your brain
to do.
chemistry to crave more.
But is that the same thing as asking why is there salt in like cookies?
No, because that changes the flavor or the compound makeup, whatever, of the cookie. Like you need salt for cookies to taste right because it enhances the sweetness, but
But sugar
chips
doesn't
don't
have
need
that.
sugar necessarily.
Do they? Are you saying that like you know, or are you saying that like you're assuming?
Well, I know.
No, because what you
Are you
call-
guessing, Chelsea? Is what he's asking.
Because I would have never guessed like that you're supposed to put salt in some cookies because cookies taste sweet. So
Have you
yeah.
ever had like salt flakes on a chocolate chip cookie or?
I've
a
had
chocolate
salt
cookie?
on like some dark
I
chocolate.
don't think so. Salt flakes.
Yeah.
Nah.
Is that a
whole-
thing?
Yeah, it's a whole nother thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is
I kind of
that?
want to try it.
I have some salt flakes in my cabinet. They're smoked though because it was for a particular.
What do you
dish.
have salt?
You have
what are
smoked salt
for?
flakes?
Yeah.
Where did you get them from?
Whole Foods.
Oh, of course.
That makes sense. What do
Yeah.
you put them on?
Vegan eggs Benedict.
Ooh.
Does it taste like salty?
Yeah, it's like a
just regular
smoky. It's a smoky. It like enhances. So when you bite into it, there's that like it accentuates the salty flavor.
Are eggs
the
not
dish.
vegan?
It's no.
No. Oh, because they can't. Yeah.
I'm not
aren't
vegan. I just
vegan.
wanted vegan eggs Benedict. I just want to try it.
Mm.
I love eggs. I love regular.
So
I
how do
actually
you have
prefer
vegan eggs
salmon.
Benedict?
I just wanted to make it.
No, but how do you have it?
So
Fake
it was like a
eggs.
smoked tofu that you marinated in this sauce or like a smoke signal type flavor.
That sounds good.
And then what else was it? Spinach. And then it was basically a cashew based creamy.
Can you make 3? Do you know how?
Well, actually, the recipe was for like 6 or more. So I had it over a course of several days.
Oh,
Oh, I don't have
fantastic.
it now. A lot of work.
Mhm.
Not a
Yeah,
cook.
yeah.
They were good though.
They sound
Okay.
good. Yes.
Next time we
yes.
come over, I would like to try.
We'll do a breakfast episode.
We still need to do
yeah.
pizza night. I can't
Oh,
believe you
yeah.
guys have never made pizza.
I've never
like
made-
from scratch. I do want to make pizza from scratch.
It
always
sounds like
looks
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I seen the
never that.
movies. You seen when they tore the
Yeah,
dough?
yeah.
I want to do
you
that.
throw it up and
What was
lands
your
on the
first
ceiling.
beer, Kel?
My first beer, it doesn't really count. It was a stout my dad gave me when I was like really small
Oh,
to convince me not to try alcohol ever. So this is what
Uh,
alcohol
did that
tastes
work
like
out?
right here. I hated it.
he could have gave you a regular beer and it would have tasted like just as ass.
But the funny thing is, my dad does not drink. He just
no.
knew the stout was strong. So he just
Your dad
tried to-
doesn't drink?
He doesn't drink.
Your
a
mom
lick.
drinks a little bit, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I drank with her, but he don't drink anything.
Mm.
He don't put anything in his body extra but food and water. Man, and some snacks here and there, but yeah.
yeah.
Very disciplined, that man.
Yo,
All right, question number 2. Do you believe in fate, free will, or both? Or neither?
fate. I believe in fate. I
Why
believe
fate?
hardcore.
Is there
Because I
anything
feel
that
like
is-
in the moment, it seems like I have to think. I'm sorry.
I believe in all of the above because I think part of sin is free will. So having that choice to disobey is part of the process for why we're even human. But also, I also believe in fate because I think I'm exactly where I'm meant to be when I'm meant to be there. And it's kind of a cop out for if I don't like something, I can just emotionally process it easier if I think it was meant to be. So when you have, if I decided to just punch you in the face right now, that's free will. But
wish you
also,
would.
I would assume that
Mhm.
that was what was meant to do.
I don't think you can have both things.
I low key. I was just about to
I
say.
don't think it
you
goes
can
that way,
have
Chelsea.
both, even though it was an option.
It was an option, but
I don't think you could have
me
both.
myself. I can't compute that. I can't because how can I say that there is fate and I'm supposed to be at a certain place at a certain point, but I have the free will to also choose where I am at any point in time or what actions I take? How can both those things be true?
Because we were talking about this last night, that idea of duality. You have to know darkness to know light. So you have to know
Of
free will to know
course,
fate.
Right.
Okay, you have to know one to know fate,
But I think when you're talking about fate, it's like at a higher level. It's like you have the option to do, this or that, but it's like at the end of the day, fate knows, I guess, what you're going to choose. So it's
Already?
like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that's fate.
so that
At
so
the end,
you
that's
really-
what fate. What does fate mean to you?
I believe fate is the exact same thing. So you believe in fate over free will.
But how expansive is fate? So like, I have the free will to take this drink and pour it on your head, but then fate will determine where I go from that path. Is it within this moment, or is it since I was
Why am
4 years
the
old?
butt
I
end
was
of all
meant-
these examples. Why am I getting punched in the
it-
face?
If
Why
I-
am I getting a drink poured on me? Choose him.
because I'm right-handed, so you're closest. But if I
Simple. How could you not see that?
but if
Yeah, I don't know.
But ever since I was born, was I meant to on April 10th to pour beer on your head? Had that been in the plan all along, or because of the relationship we developed, fate started to reveal more of itself, and God said, "I'm going to illuminate this path just a little bit more, so you know what direction you're headed."
Okay.
But then is that again free will? Because a path was illuminated for you. You didn't necessarily choose the path all on your own intuition and your own decisions.
Destinations have many roads.
True.
Yes, but I
if
feel
there's
like
a
if
sign that
there's-
says this is the safest one, that's kind of guiding you, isn't it?
But when do we get that?
I think my thing is I feel like even though that there's many roads, it's like with fate already knows the road you about to choose, but you have the choice to choose it. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It's like
it
when
does. It does. I think.
Okay,
I
so
think
what
that
happens-
I
is,
think
like-
that eliminates like low key free will because it's like an illusion. It's like when
No,
you work
because
at your
free
job.
will is choice, and so you have the choice.
So let me ask you this: if fate decides you're going on path A and your free will says you go on path B and you take path B, is fate then wrong? Can fate be wrong?
I don't know. What does the Bible say?
Because to me, I don't think fate can be wrong. I think fate.
What are you gonna look up? What are you gonna look up?
You got the app. You do have the
I'm
app.
gonna
There you
search.
go. Good for you.
Fate is probably not. I'm trying to figure out a synonymous word.
All right. While you look for that, me and Kel.
I feel like fate, it can't be wrong just by its essence.
That's what I'm
itself.
saying. Yeah.
It can't be incorrect. So it negates free will itself. I
What do you
don't
mean?
think
What do you mean?
think one can exist while the other does truly.
Yes.
I was
No,
waiting.
say something.
I was
say
waiting.
Something. Say something. Solid. Say something. Say something.
I've been trying to hold my breath. Oh my god.
No,
No,
feel free.
you
Okay,
breathe
feel
over
free.
there.
'Cause
Let
I
me
like to argue.
let me give you a different way of looking at this.
Okay.
You guys are sort of looking at
Please.
this as fate versus free will.
Uh-huh.
All right. And I'm going to give you a couple examples. They're not necessarily side by side. Think of one as one encapsulating the other.
That's what I was trying to say.
Fate is the larger thing, right? So let's say it was your fate to be here today. How you got here was your free will. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's the way you look at it. Yeah. So fate is to take this path. Now you can skip down that path. You can run down that path. You can
But
walk
you're
on that
gonna
path.
take
You can
that
meet people on
path.
that. That's your free will.
But according to
Within
fate,
the
That's
scope
what I
of
said.
fate.
The path is your own
You did not
choosing.
say that, nigga.
The
How
path
come,
is your own choosing,
how
but the
come I
destination
understood
remains
it
the
when
same.
he said it, but when you said it, I ain't understand that
I
shit.
couldn't tell you that.
yeah, there were holes in your story.
There was
no
But I think I
holes.
see what you're
There's
saying.
plots.
That,
No,
like,
I get what you're saying.
no
there.
matter what, she would have still been here today. The path she took, the way she got here, was her own free will.
I was still going to be late regardless, but
That'd be a great movie concept. You know,
What?
if you like read your fate beforehand and you try everything to avoid that fate, but you still end up on accident to that location, even though you're trying
it's
to
not
avoid
accident,
it.
it's fate.
I want to say that. I want to say it's been done, but right?
Has it?
What movie? Okay, but I know, right? Like I
It's
feel
been
like
done.
it's been done for sure before.
There's a
But-
famous quote about it. Sometimes a man will meet his fate on the very path he chooses to avoid it.
Ricky Gervais.
I don't know if he originated that quote or not.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going off the movie
Oh,
thing idea. The
don't
first
know.
person to lie. Have you ever watched that movie?
no.
Super wild.
That
He's
sounds
like
interesting.
the first, and he doesn't believe in God, but it's like funny because like the whole thing is kind of like what you call a bunch of biblical references too. He even has like the commandments in there, but he doesn't. I guess he's just making a big joke out of it, but still, very interesting thing. He lives in like a world where people always tell the truth, how they're feeling, and blase blase. And then he was like the first person to ever tell a lie, and everyone just believes it, and they think he's God, pretty much.
Mm.
But yeah. And he was like trying to tell his friend at one point, he said, I said something that wasn't. And the friend's like, what? He's like, I said something that wasn't. And then he was like, dude, try it right now. He's like, I'm a dinosaur. And then he's like, you are? That's crazy. And he's like, no, nigga, you know I'm not a dinosaur. But it's a pretty interesting movie. But,
That sounds
yeah.
very thought provoking. I like that. How old is it? It sounds.
It's early 2000s, I want to say.
that
I'm
seems
just
old to
guessing.
me.
Just guessing.
that kind of era almost feels old to me, even though it's not. I don't know why. The era for like films
Because it's
and
low
music.
key like 15 years ago.
2003?
Huh?
2003?
Just, I don't know.
2000s in
Early
general.
2000s? It's 19. I was
2003?
I was just thinking like 06.
Oh, I thought you said 2003.
Oh.
I also wonder though, back to the fate thing, that if there are people out there that feel like it's one or the other, does that change how how you approach life and how your mindset is about, you know, the circumstances you find yourself in life?
For sure. I think if you recognize your ability to choose, you either make more or less risky decisions depending on whatever your moral baseline sits. But also, if you lean into God being the controller of your fate, then you recognize risk as less averse to your path forward. So, like, for example, I'm going to do this thing because I feel like God's got me no matter what. So I'm
Or whoever has you, no
blessed and
matter
highly
what.
favored. I'm going to move forward regardless.
How do you guys think in our lineup right now of our trio? How do you guys think we each make decisions? Because I feel like we're all very different.
You want me to say about each of you?
Yeah. Including yourself though.
I'll start with myself. I think I make choices. One, what's most convenient / easiest, but at the same time, what I would find the most comfort in and relief in as well. I try to combine those two things and meet in a place in between. That's just me.
Mm.
With Chelsea, I think that was the question. Don't get offended.
I know,
already.
why
I
did
didn't
you,
say
like-
nothing.
It's like an exclamation mark.
With
The
Chelsea, and I could be wrong, I feel like Chelsea has to feel like it's the right choice. She just has to move into it, and she just in her spirit feels like it's correct, regardless of what the choice is. She
That's
feels it's
interesting.
correct. If her instinct says it's right, she will believe it's right, regardless of how anybody else feels about it.
Okay.
I feel a little bit of the same with you. However, I think you want to add a practical spin on it, which sometimes goes against itself. I feel like you want to choose things based on your instinct, but you have a practical side too that wants to make the choice that I guess has the least amount of risk or the best reward
Right.
for you. But sometimes those two things in some choices can either line up or counteract each other. That's just me.
But I don't know though. Chelsea, your turn.
Next.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, I feel like you were right. I feel like I'm definitely moved intuitively. So if I feel something is good or bad, I move in response to that. But also sometimes I'm like a little bit, well, very impulsive. So I'm like, I'm gonna just do it. And then whatever happens is meant to happen. So let me see where it goes.
Mhm.
I was
think
leaning more towards that.
when I get overwhelmed about a decision, I either like just pick one and see what happens, like flip a coin type thing. Like literally sometimes I'll just do that. And be like, well, what's meant to be will be. If it's supposed to be heads, that's where I'm supposed to go. But I think that I was called thorough the other day. And so I think that I also am very thorough in the process.
Were you offended by that?
I didn't know what it meant. I was trying to figure out what that meant because I'd never been called that before. And I agree that I'm thorough, but
You
I'm
do your homework almost.
quickly thorough. So I process A through Z really fast. And so I agreed that I was that. So I think for me, that's how I make decisions. For you, I would say,
I already told you. You just got to say what I said again.
I know, but I had a different perspective before you spoke. And so that was why I was a little concerned about how we were going to do this, because then we taint each other's thought processes.
You don't got to taint anything. How I see it is how I see it. How you see it
I
is
just
how
kind of
you
want to
see it.
see, yeah.
But how I see you, I feel like the way you make decisions is with as little friction as possible. So you want to make whatever decision is most comfortable, like you said. And sometimes I feel like that can be limiting. And so it makes you less likely to jump into something scary or take a risk or do something, again, beyond your comfort zone. Like, how long did it take you guys to get crypto? You still haven't gone. I'm going to get to you.
Okay. Okay. Now I got to go on. My fault.
She gonna get to you in a
Yeah,
minute,
go
bro.
on.
For you, I feel like you over process yourself. And so you are also thorough in thinking through A to Z, but you like to go take A's step. And then you'll take the B step. And then you'll take the C step and then realize you're running out of time and then stress and then think, well, did I miss something in A through B already? A, B, and C? And then
jump down the flight of stairs.
and then you'll say, you know what? I'm just not going to make any choice.
I do that. I can fully agree that the way I make choices is I do overthink, and then I also like weigh the pros and cons of everything. And then if it doesn't have more pros than cons, then I don't do it. But like the way I try to go about finding that, I feel like it's stressful. And then I'm like you said, if I can't figure it out, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do anything. But that's not the way to live life.
The framework that's been really helpful to me that someone helped me think through is say yes to what you want more of and say no to what you want less of, and even consciously. So, I mean, even subconsciously. So if there's a situation that you don't really like and you're like, okay, I'm just going to take it, you're telling the universe to give you more of that because that's what you've accepted. But if you show that you don't want to do that by your action, by how you choose to respond in that situation, more of what it is that you want will reveal itself to you.
Like training a dog. You have to nix the bad behaviors, reinforce the good ones.
Yeah, for yourself.
Like teaching kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Almost.
What's your analysis?
About y'all niggas? Chelsea, I feel like you...
Chelsea just do shit.
Chelsea just does shit, and then she's okay with whatever the outcome is. Because I feel like she'll be like, that's what's meant to happen, and I'm okay with that. And for you, I feel like you're really patient in making a lot of decisions. And then I do feel like you do lean towards safer choices because it makes sense. Like on paper, that makes sense. Like, why would you go towards a risky one? You know what I mean? So I feel like that's how you choose yours. I don't have an in-depth
No, I think that's good.
that.
I think we're pretty accurate. I would say, obviously, we know each other very well. So
That was pretty
I think
good.
those are all really accurate.
Real niggas out here.
But what does that mean for time? I know that was one of your questions about how people process time or how we move through time.
What do you mean? What does that mean for time?
So like the way that you process then. So like I said, I like to make decisions really quick. So I feel like I try to maximize my time and I get through more with less time. And so as we look at that in the grand scale of life, say I have 50 years to do something, I'm going to try to cram as much into that. And so in decision making, I recognize I have to move quicker so that I can do more.
Does that not stress you out ever? Because I feel like you never stress. I always tell Kel all the time, you were in college and like, you know, you got your doctorate. I've never heard you complain not one time about a test.
That was the hardest thing
I've
ever had
never
to do.
heard you. I've never heard you complain about anything. I didn't even know you were getting your doctorate until you got it, I don't think.
That's not true. So that's funny that you say that because one of our athletes is working on some research of his own and I was helping him design a survey. And so I had to go back through a bunch of paperwork And as I was going through all the ways that we needed to like structure everything and all the things we need to take into consideration, I was reminded of how stressful it was. And so naturally, I don't know if this is like a defense mechanism or what, but naturally I just forget about stressful things, or like in the moment I feel it, but once I'm past it, I focus on the good and move from there. And then I forget how bad something was, or I forget what happened. And so once I went through that, I was like, oh my gosh, I think I have PTSD. That was really hard.
Mm,
So it's funny that you say that, because I just processed that like last week.
really?
Yeah,
Ah.
it was really
Okay.
hard. I wouldn't recommend getting a doctorate unless you're going to use it.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
yeah.
That's like with everything in life, I think,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Don't get it unless you're going to use it.
Yeah, so
maybe.
Like what?
Because you might not need to use that thing, but you could have used the lessons that the pathway for that thing taught you.
right, yeah. The positive mindset.
You could have, or you can get harmed on that same pathway too.
You can, and that's the lesson too. I think I've done that, been harmed, and that was my lesson.
I feel like we very even each other out, the three of us. Like you're very positive. You're like in the middle, and I'm more on the negative side. And I feel like we just even each other out.
I should be sitting right there in the middle. I should be.
But you've been there for so long.
Chelsea can't slap you when the camera's off. Question 3.
When was the last time I hit you?
Yesterday. Like what you talking about?
That's true. Did I hit you? Yesterday?
Yes, you
Why
did.
did I
It
hit
hurt.
Why? When?
Just cause.
You're making this up.
No, I'm not.
I don't remember.
It was there. It was there.
Do you
I want to
remember?
look at.
Yes, I remember.
What was it for?
I don't know, but you hit him.
These are not
Hit me,
truths.
struck me. You heard it here first on the Black Trees podcast. She hit me last night. We were at Kel's place.
They're conspiring against me.
No, we're not.
I'm not even lying to you.
I definitely didn't hit you.
You was hit.
And it hurt.
That's not true.
Anyway,
What was your next question?
pushing forward.
I almost made a. Okay, question number 3. What benefit or harm does art have in society?
Art is
in your
expression.
opinion?
Art is expression.
And so I think it's
Is expression always positive though?
It depends
No.
on how you take it.
serial killers do things that they think are artful. That doesn't mean it's good for society.
I was
Very
gonna bring
true.
up that same example.
Very true.
Did you know that America produces basically 70% of the whole world's serial killers? That means
That's nuts.
The
I
other-
didn't
I'm, actually,
I
I'm
know
not
that.
terribly surprised.
the other
actually.
190 countries produce 30%. America as one country is
Well, that kind
Wow.
of that kind of
Out here.
goes hand in hand with the nation that also has the most people who are armed as well.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's
Don't
kind of
fuck with us.
it's easy to be a mass murderer when everybody has guns. So
Mm.
Mhm.
just keep it real.
Yeah.
Them kind of go hand in hand. But just how do y'all feel about art overall?
I love art.
And I mean all kinds of
Love
art.
art.
I love
Every
art.
last bit of
They
it.
say art is meaningless, but life without art is also meaningless.
You have to know one to know the other. I think the cool thing about art is that it allows people to express their own identity in ways that sometimes words can't communicate. So when you have art, whether it's painting or sculptures or music or even acting as an art, that allows people a way to really just reflect the human experience in a magnitude of ways. Because if you think even just language, people perceive and understand things differently. And so if we're not speaking about like, Mandarin or Portuguese or any actual language, art is a form of language. And so the different, I guess, types of art are different languages. And so different people resonate with them. So it gives everybody an outlet is what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
agree.
I should answer your question
You
first.
you
before I
and
ask
you would
one.
agree with Pablo Picasso. I had a Pablo Picasso quote ready because I thought it kind of made sense. He said art is a lie that makes us realize truth, at least the truth that is given us to understand.
Yes. Yeah. I believe that. I
But
feel like
yeah.
that's factual because
Yeah.
it's like how Chelsea was saying. It's just kind of like what you're feeling about. Like that's your view on life. Like some art. You know what I'm saying? And like specifically talking about some movies and everything. That's how you view the world, and everything you put in that world is kind of how you see it. And like you could take it as whatever, as like someone that's taking it in. You could take, it's whatever. But it's like that artist that made it with a specific thing in mind and all that.
So I was thinking about this morning, so I'll ask you guys because I think maybe having this conversation by myself was a little narcissistic. But do you guys think that artists see the world differently, and not just like from a visual representation, like actually the way that their brain is wired, they can see shades and shapes and lines and colors more enhanced, and that's why they're able to revert that back to a form of expression because they can copy and paste it in ways that people don't normally see. Does that make sense?
I want to say yes.
I think so too.
I think so in the elements of this, not that they just see the world and actually see things differently than us, just like if we're looking at the same wall right now, like me and some artist, I will see one thing, the artist is going to notice like 10,000 other things that I don't. And then we're not wrong, but they're just seeing it from a different angle, a different lens. Yeah, I would agree.
Do you think that's mostly all talent, or is there like
that's what I'm
education that goes
asking.
into
Well,
it?
even beyond education, I think like genuinely the way that your brain is balanced hormonally or whatever it is that's causing these synaptic exchanges, I think that there's something in artists' brain that they see the world differently. And so the example I was saying was narcissistic because I was thinking about myself, and like I see balanced lines or straight lines or crooked lines or like moles or marks or shadows or things on people's face in ways that most people don't. And so whenever I see something, I didn't think it was offensive, but usually I'll call it out, and Erica and my mom have to tell me that's rude. And and so I'm like, well, it just is. Like, that's just how that looks. It's not good or bad. Like, the way people perceive it is bad. I'm just saying your eyes are crooked. It's just how it looks.
Yeah.
My nose bridge. Okay, sorry. Anyways,
go on about your nose bridge.
My nose bridge is crooked. This side is higher than the other. And so it makes my glasses crooked sometimes. But what I pick up on in that is it makes it easier for me to draw because I pick up all those fine details. So when you look at the piece I was working on right now, you can see all the like crevices and movement and emotion in someone's face. I think it also sometimes comes with an emotional intelligence because you can see the slightest reaction.
Did you ever take a class out of curiosity?
I did once, or maybe twice. I took Art 1 and Art 2 in high school, and that was it.
Okay. Because what you call, I think for a while, for the same thing with like writing stuff, you could tell me a line and I could think it's funny. I could put a whole story around it before. But then what is it? I took classes in like college, and then like now it could be like more honed in on like a whole something that can be just like.
Just refine the skills you already had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
I like that.
Yeah. You should try that next time.
Yeah, what are you going to write about?
Try to choose like a line or a scene.
I've done it before.
The world is a beautiful place.
I've made like short films, yeah.
The world is a beautiful place. Now tell me a story.
No.
Instantly, like that.
Yeah, you said you could do it. Challenge accepted.
Do y'all have a favorite piece of artwork by chance? If you want me to go first, I can.
Yeah, you go first. I have a favorite artist.
I have one, but it's favorite for a very, very like dark reason, a bad reason. It's, what was the man's name? Kevin Carter's The Struggling Girl. You know what I'm talking about?
Maybe.
Probably, possibly. It's a picture, it's an image of this girl from Sudan, this really, really young girl who's like starving because they're going through a starvation thing in like the 1990s. And a vulture is like stalking this young girl who's like hobbled over on her side or something because she's making the trek from one location to another, but she's so weak, and the vulture's just walking right behind her a few feet. And this guy, Kevin Carter, was in the Sudan. He has a lot of pictures that are pretty revealing.
Really
yeah. The heaviest part was that he won a Pulitzer Prize like a year after, and in that same year he killed himself from what they thought was, and they believe is he was in his car, I think. Was it monoxide poisoning? Carbon monoxide poisoning, like poisoned himself in his car. Yeah. I don't know. But that, like, once I heard that story, that whole image, the story behind it, it stuck with me. Like, that's.
Can you send that to me later when you get the chance?
Yeah, the picture.
Yeah, because I can kind of see it, but I want to see how it actually looks.
It's something, man. It's sad.
I want something happy.
No, yeah, my bad.
Kadir Nelson. Like
Van Gogh.
Yeah. So I'm happy.
I don't know if I like classical art like that. I don't know if I have a favorite art piece, but I have a favorite art style. Like, I love art of Black people.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, I get you.
I think one of my favorite artists, I always forget his name. Like, I'm not good with names generally, but he did the cover for a bunch of Marvin Gaye's albums. And so it's like that, like, outstretched dancing
Kadir Nelson.
type. Oh, yay.
Is that him?
Is it?
Do you know? Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I want to say that's him.
Well, maybe. You know
might
what?
be.
This is registering.
Because my dad really likes Kadir Nelson.
I like
too.
that. And then there's another woman on Instagram called So Trill. And like just the way that she expresses Black women through flowers is super beautiful to me.
Okay.
Bloom again.
Was that the? You know what? I'm not even gonna speak on it, because I don't even know for sure. Next.
My favorite art piece is the dogs playing poker. Just love
Ooh,
it.
because the dogs have thumbs, huh? Since when do dogs have thumbs?
That was
Exactly.
in an Airbnb I was in once. Funny that you say that.
I would have stole it.
And there was a poker table, so it was above
I
the
would
poker
have
table.
stole that shit low key. They would have never known. They would have caught me on camera.
Free will.
Yeah, free will though.
You
know?
would have had the painting one day. How you got there was up to you. Whether you stole it or magically appeared on your doorstep.
Do you guys see art in human behavior?
Yes, that's like all of acting.
I mean, like not acting though, like just every day.
What do you mean?
Like
Yes.
the woman walking
The
down the
art of
street
lying.
pushing a cart, or like a shopping cart, or the businessman stressed in his really nice car going to his really nice office, but like he's unhappy. Like there's art in that, even if it's sad.
Yes.
That's acting.
That's that's their real life.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying like actors like pay attention to like stuff like that, and then like they take bits and pieces of that.
I just try to act. I love paying attention to that stuff.
I feel like life is art in itself, just because of how it's defined and what it is.
Mhm.
Because art is how you yourself interpret the world. But when you think about it, we're all, every moment of every day, interpreting the world in our own way that is very different from everybody else. Our lives ourselves, I think, are some form of art. How we move, how we groove, how we shake, how we bake, all of it, man.
The older we get, the more color we fill on our canvas with.
Food is my
Yes.
favorite kind of art, low key.
Mm.
You don't like
I
food
don't know
art?
if food isn't an art.
What? Like chefs,
But
bro?
you agree with me with life's an art,
What?
but not
Life's an
food?
art.
But
I think
not-
it can be like, yeah, that's
What?
plated pretty, but
Sad.
No,
I
but
love eating
okay,
food.
you didn't see him. What's the movie?
Wow.
Ratatouille.
Oh, I thought you were
Remy
gonna talk about
Lady-
Chef with John Favreau. I was like, dude, yeah, you didn't watch Chef, nigga, with John Favreau?
The rat laid it out perfect for you. You try the grape, it tastes like a grape. You try the cheese, it tastes like cheese. But when you try them together, shit, it's different.
I don't think that's what he said.
It's magical.
No, it almost is. It's very close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he sang a rendition of
No,
When
I
You
don't
Wish
know.
Upon a Star.
He said shit
I like
and everything.
food, but
Shit.
I don't know if I see it as art. I think it's delicious.
People
Okay.
make
I
it.
see food.
People-
I
what
see
about
food as a
restaurant
means
food?
to an end. Like I don't really see food as like
Wow.
purposeful.
If
I
I have
see
a
it as
question.
I need to sustain it to stay alive.
I have a question though.
Not
If a
considerate.
chef
Because you could have just
approached
ugly
you
food.
and well, I'm about to get to that.
I would like a
if
personal chef.
if they asked you what are some foods you liked and you answered them and they made you a meal that they knew that you would like based on the things you told them they would like, but it's not anything you've had before,
I
that's
think-
not an art form.
I think it's not sustainable. So like that only happens, 1 to 10% of the time. But your everyday life, food is just there as a means to an end. Unless you have a personal
But Chelsea,
chef
I
coming
can
in.
go
But
on this
you
wall right
can-
here and paint some
and-
shit. It don't like, it's still art, isn't it?
But everything's painted.
Okay, so Kel, go on with your next question, my nigga. I don't want to talk about this no more.
No,
it's gonna make me upset.
No,
Cause
I wanna-
why can you consider all these other things art, but then the food? Nah, that's preposterous. Why is that? Why come?
Because it
'Cause
has
I-
a shelf life. Literally.
It has a what?
It has a shelf life.
But still,
So
what
does
people
everything.
do, yeah.
Food is just less.
The only reason why we like food is because as we are on a mission to acquire it, dopamine raises in our brain. And then the second you get it, those levels fall.
But I don't like broccoli as much as I like cake. No matter how hungry I am.
That doesn't make it an art.
Whoever made the cake, yes, that is an art form to figure out how to make a cake.
I feel like this is so
and make it a good
disrespectful
cake.
to, like
Hold on.
chefs out there in the
But
world.
sorry. I mean, no disrespect to chefs.
No. You go on.
You can make like food look pretty and beautiful and an art, but I don't
But it's not
see
even just
food as an
look.
I'm talking
entity
about
as an
flavor.
art.
I'm talking
Why?
about flavor though too. Not
Yeah,
just
and you can make it look good, you can make it taste good, but like you aren't there. There isn't a moment where
'Cause-
you're just
oh,
walking
okay, 'cause
down the
you need
street
food.
and you see. Yeah, you need. Well, you need. I think you need art too, but there isn't a moment where you're just walking down the street and you're like,
That
oh,
does-
that's a beautifully plated salmon.
Doesn't
if
make
you need
sense.
art too, then,
Then,
you, and you
yeah,
need
then
food,
what,
food
what's
can
your
be art.
argument?
You need art for happiness.
I'm not understanding. I'll
You
just
need
be really
food
frank.
for survival.
But okay, yes, but that doesn't
But if
mean
you-
everyone
So to
deserves
see art
Maine
is a
lobster
choice.
each night.
To eat is not a choice.
Okay, yes, true, but
you said
you don't
you
have
need
to
it.
eat
If
the
you
same
need it-
thing every day. Like just because you eat
You
food,
can-
or
Who
have
has
to
that
eat
type
food-
of mental capacity though to make and plate and have
Us.
that expression. I don't have that.
When you go out to a place and you say, what do I want to eat today? I'll choose this because I know I like it, or choose this, I want to try it, or choose this because that's this ingredient in it.
You never
That is the chef performing an art on the plate and you choosing which art you decide is the best. Like an art show. That's literally the same thing, isn't it?
Okay, I would agree with that.
You can say, yeah, right.
Bakers and Baristas has all these different cream puffs, and when they get new ones, I get excited. Is that the same?
I guess.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Isn't there art in taste? It sounds like you're saying art is just limited to visual. I
No,
mean, because
that's what you were saying earlier.
when
I
you're
think
talking
there's-
about creating flavors, there's an art form to that. And I think any chef would argue that creating the right flavor with the right amount of acidity and all those things is art.
Yeah.
I feel like it's math.
Gang related.
Math.
Yeah. I don't know. I need to think about this more. I've never been asked this question.
Okay, well, Solomon, going off that, do you think every sense can be touched in an art form?
Absolutely. That's why we
I
have
agree
five
too.
senses. I mean, music is art, right? You
Yes,
don't use
thank
your,
you.
You don't
Yes.
use your
So-
eyes for that.
Okay,
You
see
what I
that
mean?
maybe that's where I differ. I feel like art is the sixth sense, the one you just feel inside, like you can't really explain it. And food touches the five that are already there. Does that
So
make sense?
how would you describe then art that you just see, like paintings?
I would describe how much I like it by how it makes me feel. There isn't a sense for that. Like it's not touch, sight, smell, sound. What
It's
are those?
sight.
No, but the way, because of how I see it, like what does it do to me?
But
Like
you had to do what first?
I don't know, but I feel like
See
you're
it.
about to make a joke.
You had
Yeah,
to
to
see,
see
it.
the painting.
You have to see it first. It's the pathway, but like, I guess, you know what? Okay, I guess I'll concede because food can make you feel a certain way.
Sound, music can make you feel a certain way.
Oh yeah,
right?
music. I think,
Nice.
I
Good
think
or bad?
Touching certain things can make you feel
Tasting
a certain
something
way.
can make you feel a certain way.
I think music is the most powerful entity in the world because of how it can make you feel and how it aligns with like your
Yeah.
binaural beats and
And you tell stories
all
with
of how
it
life
and all that.
works. Sports is second.
As long as you wave that white flag over there and say food is an art form,
Yeah.
we can move on.
Don't disrespect food like
I'm
that.
not
Don't
disrespecting
disrespect
food.
chefs.
I love food.
You was.
I love food. I don't like to eat, but I love food because it's just such an inconvenience. I don't like stopping what I'm doing to go figure it out and think and
You don't
dedicate
like
that
to
mental energy
eat.
to something else that I wanted to be doing this other thing. If I had a personal chef, I would be at
Your
total
personal chef
peace.
wouldn't like you. 'cause
I have
you
a
wouldn't
question.
Consider their work an art.
I have a question.
Oh.
I have a question. If you had a personal chef,
Mhm.
would you let the chef make whatever they want for you? at
Oh
any point
yeah,
in time?
because I don't have to spend the time thinking about
No,
figuring
no,
that
no.
out.
But would you tell them whatever you serve me is fine?
As long as it meets particular
No, no, no,
nutritional
no, no, no.
requirements.
Whatever you serve me is fine.
As long as it meets nutritional requirements and it's stuff that I like. I don't want you making a bunch of tomato dishes. I don't like tomatoes.
Then guess what? That is an art form.
Why?
Thank
You're
you.
just following directions.
To make a good dish without tomatoes is an art form. Period. I'm sorry. It is.
It's a skill. It's a talent for sure.
Talents are art forms.
So disrespectful. It's Sunday too. Did you go to church today?
I don't think
Just
that's
being
true.
rude as hell.
You can only
On
have talent
Sunday.
for art forms.
Huh?
You can only have talent for art forms.
Hmm. I don't know. I don't know why I feel so much friction here, but I hear and see all your points, and I think that
I'm just
chef as a profession is like a really high quality skill, and I think that there is art in food, but I don't think that food is an art.
Do you
all
think that
times.
sports are art?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's
Why?
like it's like a dance
Why?
between emotion. What?
Anyway, question number
Sorry.
4. This is more of like a talking point. Because I think we talked about it last night. And we
I'm
all
so
kind of
stressed.
agreed.
Like, I want another beer. Like, go on though. Go on.
We talked about duality and how all things have two aspects to them, one and the other. Chelsea, because someone else has walked off, is that something that you agree with and carry into your own life? That the duality aspect of everything.
Yeah.
I think it's in everything.
We were talking about this last night, but I think that, or Brene Brown, I was listening to a podcast from her, and she said that a key characteristic of good leaders is that they understand duality. And I've never thought of it that way, but whether you agree with that duality or not, I think understanding and recognizing it is important. And I feel like it's a space that, personally, I guess that was your main question, a space that I struggle with a lot because never and always are things that I struggle with. Like, I think there's an instance in every example of where the opposite could be true. So
Yes.
is stealing bad? Yeah, but if this mom is stealing food for her kids because she
Yeah.
needs to eat, like, do we put her in jail? I don't think that's okay. I would be a terrible judge, but I think that in that instance, duality exists. I think, can you have love and hate at the same time? Sometimes even for the same person. I think so. It's why everyone says it's a situationship. But I think I live in duality.
What was the question, bro?
It's about duality. But Chelsea, I 100% agree, and I think it's important for everybody to like come to terms with that the duality, that shit's real. My pops taught me at an early age. He tried to like instill that in me. I think I came home one day and like my teacher told me to never ever lie, and my dad told me, well, let's say this. Let's say our neighbors over there had to borrow our knife for whatever reason, right? And we loaned them the knife. And let's say tomorrow, there's somebody in our house, me or your mom has gone crazy, and then they ask the neighbor for the knife back, one of my parents. Should that neighbor give my parents, one of them, the knife back if they're acting crazy and seem like they're gonna harm somebody? Or are they supposed to lie and say that they don't have it and prevent something drastic from happening?
I don't know how I feel about that situation. You don't have to lie. You could just say no.
But it's our knife. We loaned it to them.
Yeah, but you can have it back. You're obviously not deserving of it right now.
You're obviously not deserving of your own property right now.
If you're gonna harm somebody with it,
well, okay, but that's the aspect too, right? That there's a gray area to everything. You know,
sorry.
there is no just right or wrong. There is no just good or bad. There's a gray area, and there is no rule that says yes, if something is owed to someone, you should return it to them or bestow it upon them. But there's context to it. There's context to everything, right? I'm trying to give another example. If
I think part of the essence of being a human is just trying to understand, like, you don't necessarily have to say in every single circumstance, this is always the position I'm going to take, because I want, at least me personally, I seek to understand someone's thought process, someone's experience, someone's situation. And that's how I process. I
agree, but it's easy to fall into that trap, I think, too. And we fall into that trap often just as individuals and groups we choose camps almost, you know? Our politics is a lot like that now. We choose
Tribalism.
Camps. And whatever one end says is all correct, whatever the other end says is all wrong. Even though like things should blend between both sides. You know what I'm saying? That's where I stand on it. Duality is major. There is no all good and all evil. There's just some good with little evil or a lot of evil with some good.
It's a scale.
It's a scale. It's never on either end. It's somewhere in between the two ends.
So sometimes food is art, but not all the time.
Don't you?
I agree.
Don't you bring
Would you say McDonald's is an art form?
Bring this up.
I think McDonald's is an art form.
That's a good question.
To have 9 billion served, it's a lot of burgers.
It's a skill. It's a business skill.
I feel like it's a different type of art.
You can only have skills in art, though.
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
can't you only have skills in art?
I don't mean to bring it back here, but I think going back to duality.
You did bring it back here.
You know why? Because you got your beer over there. She said he's ready over there. Now we can jump back in.
Josh, your thoughts on duality?
What was the question specifically?
Just if duality is an influencer in your life, and duality being the idea of there is no black or whites, just 50 shades of gray.
Do you follow duality on Instagram? Is there an influencer named Duality in your life?
That wasn't the question I was asking.
To you, Kel, I think, yeah, you can't have, like how we were talking just the other day, we can't have one without the other. Sometimes I don't always see that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you're looking at it so close up, it's just like, you know, everything
can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah, everything feels all bad.
I love that saying, by the way. When I first heard it, I didn't understand it for a while. Because it was a long time ago, but I love that saying too. You can't see the forest for the trees. It's a good one. How's that beer over there?
It's all right.
Is it helping with this art conversation?
A little bit.
I have a question now that might spark somebody to my right.
I love being sparked.
And I want just a simple yes or no answer. I don't want any, well, you can explain after, but I want you to start with yes or no. Is it okay to eat animals?
Yes.
Okay.
That's it. I don't really have an argument there.
Is it okay for humans to eat humans?
No.
Why not?
Because you can't eat your own.
Why?
Because lions don't eat lions. They eat gazelles.
We eat cows.
It's just the laws of nature. I'm not a cow.
We don't eat gazelles.
But I'm not a cow. I'm a human. I don't eat cow also, actually. But
what about you? Is it okay to eat animals, and why?
Yeah.
Would you eat a shark?
Hell yeah, I'd eat a shark.
Would you eat a sea turtle?
I like sea turtles, but I would be down to try. Low key.
Do you think any species of animals should be exempt from being eaten and hunted?
I think culturally we have our positions, but I think you can't. I know how tightly I hold to my own culture and norms and beliefs that I can't judge someone else for theirs, because then who's to say I'm right?
I'm talking about our culture itself.
Who's our?
The United States culture.
Yeah, I would say United States culture says you can't eat dogs, but I think there are cultures where that's accepted, and so I can't judge that.
Let me ask you this: do you think
you
that
can't eat my dog, though? I want him.
Yeah, same.
I hate to use the word correct. Is that fair? I guess I can't think of the word.
Is
but
it
I think
fair to not judge?
I know. I just think it's a bit off how, like, depending on culture to culture, you can eat certain animals, and then some you can't.
Belief. Like, I believe in God, but that doesn't mean that I believe in God through a Christian framework, but that doesn't mean that I condemn people who believe in God through a Muslim framework or from a Jewish framework. So I feel like that's the same example where I can believe what I believe, but still acknowledge that your belief is valid.
But I don't even want to bring the religion aspect into it. I just want to bring in, like, the mistreatment of animals aspect into it.
Well, look, I think there's a limit. So I think, yes, we should eat animals. I think at the scale at which specifically America does this whole beef thing, and I guess other poultry, I think that we're out of pocket there. But I think that if we're not doing it from gluttony or from overindulgence or from waste and all the ways that it's impacting the environment, I think that we've passed the mark on it being appropriate. But I think it's if we're operating from a perspective of having just enough for yourself, then it's okay. But we crossed the line for that a long time ago.
So we got time for one more question. My bad, bro. I didn't think we was gonna get this far.
I got some
low key.
I got some questions.
So if you had one to choose one,
these are
pick that one
too.
What do you guys think your purpose on this earth is?
Kel, if you had to choose one, we could pick up the rest some other time.
My purpose is to inspire whoever listens and make whoever's life I can shine brighter. Mm-hmm. That is my purpose, period. My final question, I guess, is...
Josh, what's your purpose?
Be a blessing to others. Go on, Kel.
My purpose is to leave this world in a better place than how I found it.
Can racism ever not exist?
No.
When I was in high school, I was trying to have this discussion, I guess, really with myself. I was trying to figure out if I felt like racism was a parasite.
Now, before you continue, though, let me do all of this. Racism is defined in the dictionary as prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group.
So you're saying, can it ever not exist?
Can it ever not exist?
So you're saying that racism isn't always bad?
No. If you're asking me the answer to mine, I can't imagine it. I can't imagine racism not existing to some extent.
Yeah.
Only because, too, as humans with complex brains, the way complex brains work to be able to understand this information, it organizes the info. And that extends, I think, to humans as well. It becomes easier to organize people based on their beliefs and their cultural group and how they look. Therefore, I think it's very easy to fall into the trap.
But that's prejudice. Racism is exercising the power over another based on their race.
Well, that is the hence of my question. That's the emphasis on my question. Can you have those thoughts and not act upon it? Can you have thoughts you never act upon?
I don't think we can do it in this generation, but I feel like if it were like 600 years from now, I don't mean it's going to take that long to eradicate racism, but thinking about how many generations have to run through and how many sort of cultural shifts and thought processes will change over that amount of time, I do feel like there's a time in which racism would not exist. I feel like I work towards that. So I can't not see that as a North Star.
Why you look like that over there?
What is it? I didn't understand the North Star reference.
Like it's where I'm going.
That's where she's headed, to a place of non-racism. Okay. And I do commend that. I do. If you're asking me to imagine it, I cannot physically imagine it. But that just might be my place in history right now from what I've experienced from like everything that's happened in my own life.
Yeah.
I can't see it. But who knows? Maybe my kids' will be able to imagine a world then their kids might be able to, and live in a world like that.
I mean, look at what's happening with Will Smith at these Oscars right now.
See, here we go.
That's not racism.
I didn't want to do it, but I was like, you don't think so?
Well,
how they're treating
explain.
him?
What part are
You don't
talking
think
about?
it's excessive how they're treating him?
I see. I think that's a whole nother conversation we don't have time for.
Yeah,
I
So,
think if you
to be
take away the
continued.
Oscars, it's excessive. Anything else, I don't really care about.
yeah.
If you take
same.
away the award, it's excessive to
Excessive.
me. Anything else is fine.
I think 10 years is also excessive to not go, but I don't think they're gonna stick to it. I think they're using it as a front.
I'm
like,
fine with
well-
that because to me, in my own opinion, punishment is also a deterrent. And it has to be.
Yeah.
But the thing about behavior change that psychology says is punishment is not the most effective route towards behavior change.
Really?
It's positive reinforcement. So
Really?
commending the good things is how you get people to change behavior more often than punishing them for the bad things.
Oh, yeah,
But
but in this
do you have
case,
to
he
do
already.
both?
I mean, yeah, we're humans. Like you can't just sit
Do
on one
one.
and just
Okay.
let people kill. And then when they say thank you to the barista at Starbucks,
mm.
be like, good job.
That's what I mean. Like Will Smith already slapped Chris
Yeah,
Rock.
we
Like,
have
the
to
cat's out of
obviously
the bag.
Have some form of,
You can't say good job now, Will.
Yeah.
You got your Oscar.
yeah.
You can't do that
No,
now.
I
but
hear you though.
At some point,
they
you
had
gotta
they had to do something.
Man, oh man. Okay, I got one more question. Wait, did y'all get your spill on the racism question?
Yeah.
Solomon, I want to know your thoughts. Come on.
On
Can racism ever not exist?
yes, and I will tell you because
Okay.
you have to think about.
He knows the date.
Yeah, what date will it not
Possibly.
exist?
But you already alluded to it. You said your kids, right? And I look
Yes.
at my own daughter, right? Now, I grew up in a time where racism was blatant. You walk down the street, they calling you the N word, and
Yeah.
you looking around and see, I mean, it's just a dangerous situation. Where now my daughter grows up, she doesn't even think about the racism of her friends unless someone brings it up. We burden them with our own history, right?
Yes.
Now, eventually, our kids are going to get further and further and further away from that.
Mhm.
Because if you think about right now, especially racism in the US, it's based on our past. So the further we
Mhm.
get away from the past, the more people start to have their own experiences. Yes, that will go away. Now, will people still be differentiated by their differences? That's human nature. Of course they will, whether it's language, color, height, whatever. But hate because of your race, I think that will decline over time. And I can see a time when it doesn't matter. The other factor too is interracial marriage, right? At some point, like if you read any major sci-fi books, people in space, they're all one general mulatto color because it's just all of these different races have just intermixed over the years.
By 2050, people of color
Not
are
that
supposed to
soon.
be the majority. That's
Oh, the majority? Oh,
Yeah.
oh. I thought you were going to say something else. I thought you
no,
were
but
gonna
yeah,
blend
by
it to one.
2050, white people will be the minority, which is why I don't like
In
to use the
America?
word minority.
The first shall be last.
In the world.
In the world?
I'm pretty sure. It might be America. It might be America. Don't quote me on that.
That's hardcore though.
Because it might. I would
America
imagine
might be
it's
there
already
already.
yeah, I know. I think the world. You live in Los Angeles.
We
Go
live
to
in
the-
in Southern California, bro. I was gonna say, I was like, I don't know,
I was
man.
trying to be hopeful, man. I was
Yeah.
trying to be hopeful. We not there.
Yeah.
California's not even all of California, actually.
You got
when
one
you
more
count all
finishing
of it.
question?
Sure. In what capacity does karma exist? Because I feel like we all think it exists to some degree, but in what capacity or in what shape or
Dang.
form does it exist? And if you want me to go, I think it's about the mindset aspect of it, that if you believe good things will happen to you for whatever reason, one of two things will happen. You'll either start to perceive things that happen to you, be it bad or good, as good, or, you just might just start to look out for the things in your life that are good and be easier to ignore the bad ones. And the same thing vice versa.
I feel like you
I
just
think
wrote
it's a
my
mindset.
biography.
I did write her biography. It's not her writing. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. None of her own work.
Yeah, I think that belief part is super big, but like I do think there is an energy exchange that happens when you bring positive energy or negative. Like I said earlier, I don't remember if we were on mic talking about this, but the things that you say yes to and the things that you say no to is what will appear more for you.
You were talking about that half an hour ago.
On
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think I was having a conversation with someone about this the other day. It was one of my coworkers, low key, because she was talking to me, talking about some Josh, that's your karma for this. I'm like, why is that my karma? Because like when I first was out here in this world, sometimes bad things happen, for no reason, and I didn't deserve it. You know what I mean? Sometimes bad things just happen. I feel like it's your perspective on that situation. If you feel like it's owed to you, then yeah.
But sometimes like it takes a bad thing to get to a good thing. And so there's a Nelson Mandela quote, and it says, "I'm an optimist by nature or nurture. I do not know." And so I think that probably should be the asterisk on everything I say, because I am that person that's going to look for the good so that I can get more of it. Because what fun is it to just wallow in that sadness?
Bad. Yeah, it's not fun at all. Let me tell you. But what you call? Yeah, man. I think there's what you call. Fuck, I forgot it. I was gonna go somewhere and I got lost.
Sometimes I feel like I imagine God just up to like a list and he like keeps score of everybody's good actions and bad actions. Every time you reach 5, let me just check them.
This is what I was gonna say. It depends. I feel like it depends if you learned your lesson or not. Sometimes I feel like if you learned your lesson without it really affecting you, it's like in having it being done to you, then it's not. You know what I'm saying?
That's a combination of karma and just ignorance too. Like if you fall for the same trap over and over again,
I feel like that's what people take karma as, though, as like some ignorance, low key.
Hey, some people do. They perceive their own ignorance as karma, or that they perceive their own. I'll say that they perceive outside help as karma too.
But I think
that's fair.
But I think the point you made earlier too about like sometimes bad things just happen. Like bad people exist, and so the way that they express themselves in the world, the way that they
it has nothing to do with
their
you.
art, it has nothing to do with you, right? So part of that is eventually going to be a bad karma back to them. But part of that brings you, I think, a learning opportunity or a lesson. Like even some of the worst things I think that have ever happened to me, like I took away a learning experience. I took away as a learning experience.
And I feel like if you learn from it, man, it's always a positive thing. But if you don't, it's gonna tag you.
Life.
So so to close, then I would say up to April 10th at 1:40, what's the biggest lesson you've learned that you're going to take into the rest of the millennium?
In my life? Dear God.
Damn.
You know what? No, I'd say that's the biggest lesson for me. The one I mentioned earlier, to remember things aren't black or white. They're just gray. You yourself will not understand what is good, what is bad. You can perceive it as good or bad, but your perception isn't always reality. That's my biggest life lesson.
I would say to date for me, the biggest thing is there's always nuance in life, but just because there's nuance doesn't mean you have to let your boundaries get crossed.
Don't tell that story.
I don't know what mine would be. I guess life does get better. Would be you just gotta. Sometimes it sucks, but it does get better.
It's like a stock chart. Like it's up and down, but for the most part, it's trending upwards.
Life finds a way. I watched that movie last night.
Is that Forrest Gump? No. Okay.
It's Jurassic Park.
That was Jurassic Park? That was Jurassic Park?
This is where we end on that music.
Yeah, bro, y'all need to watch your Jurassic Parks,
I haven't
man.
watched Jurassic Park, so I wouldn't.
That was what's his name? You know the man? What's his name? The scientist from Jurassic Park. We're all scientists. The cool dude. Everyone's making me look foolish.
Are you talking about the actor, or what do you want?
The actor.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not thinking of Jurassic Park right now.
Yeah.
Man, and on that note, that's
until next time. Be safe. God bless. Stay black, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday.
But if you're not black, it's okay too.
On the Black Trees podcast.
Have you said stay black this whole
season? I have.
She said
since season.